Good morning. Good morning, creatives. How are we all this morning? Oh, just a minute. Put my glasses back on. Ah, Shelley. Hello, my lovely.
Hello.
Angela, good morning. You were just beaten on pole position by Shelley. She's well on the ball this morning. Oh, good morning. Mrs. Walsh is in the building. See who else is going to join us. Oh, Carol, good. Oh, hi. Oh, Brian. Oh, you were determined to get us live today. Hello to Mark too. Hi, Brian.
Thank you, Angela.
Happy Monday from my mum. It is happy Monday, glorious weekend. Yes. Good morning, Laura. Morning, Dina. Oh, lovely that you could join us. Just see if anybody else is joining us. I know a couple of people have said they've got something on this morning. Oh, I know. Carol, that's a lovely way of spelling your name. It is pronounced Carol, isn't it? Carol. Yeah. Oh, Brian said good morning. Hi, bro.
Hi, Brian.
It's always pleased when you're here, Brian, because at least he's got a bit of backup. Right then. Oh, thank you, Angela. Angela's put a whole ream of people to let them know. Thank you very much, Angela. It's very much appreciated.
All them people in her house?
No, she's not got them all in her house.
Oh.
She'd perhaps like to, because it'd been a lovely little gathering, that would. No, what you can do is you can tag people in to come to let them know that the live's on. Yes. Carol pronounce. Oh. Yeah. Oh, good morning, Liz. Oh, Angela, bless you. You're very kind. Right then. So, I think we'll get on because always a few people join in halfway through, and it doesn't really matter. How are you, Liz? Did you have a good market? You had a market. Was it this weekend? Was it Friday you had the market? Yeah. Yes, so hopefully everybody had a lovely weekend. Gosh, the weather. What happened? It was glorious. No, wow. It was a little bit, I think we were lulled into a bit of a false sense of security, actually. But it was lovely. It's all right. It's going to be... Oh, morning, Jean. Gosh, I didn't think that you would have a chance this morning. Jean's got the decorators and plasterers in this morning.
That's because she's been up so early.
And yeah, did you get up early for them, Jean? Yeah, glorious weekend. Absolutely glorious. It really was. Yesterday we were... Oh, morning, Philippa. Oh, good. Liz, yeah, it was a good market. That's excellent. Because it's quite early, isn't it, to be having markets. I know our daughter-in-law, Chloe, she started her markets last week. And she said one day was really good. The other day was... She met some lovely people, but it wasn't terribly profitable. But it's early days, isn't it, at this time of year? Right then, so... perhaps not mentioned this morning. Oh, okay. Doesn't sound as if it's going quite as well as it should be. Right, we won't mention that. Just have a nice chilled hour then, Jean. Shelley was having trouble getting being able to comment. Oh, good. I'm pleased you're okay now. Right then, so I know I've got I've got my lighter colours on. I'm not all in black. I was all in black on Saturday because we were power taxing, and I just find that wearing black t-shirt and my black trousers is better. It is tough, Liz. It is tough. Yeah, it's. I think Chloe's going to see a difference from last year to this one. But yeah, I think they want to come out and have a little look and spend a nice day out and look round the markets, but they don't, and they want to chat, which is lovely, and they compliment everybody, but they don't want to spend. But you know, hopefully it'll pick up as the positive weather comes on and the lighter nights, hopefully. Right then, so I've got a nice little project, and I thought it would be quite a nice one to do. Oh, Philippa, that would be amazing. It would be. Philippa's talking about coming to a workshop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, you must. Yes.
What was that, a mucky workshop?
Yeah, dirty workshop, Philippa. Liz, yeah. Chloe, she does. She has this punch. Oh gosh, I don't know what it's called. I'll send you a link because I think you would. Oh gosh, what she does is absolutely amazing. She makes things out of wool, and it's a machine that you put. It's like
It's a canvas type thing, I think.
yeah, it's like this massive piece of canvas. It's like, and she has a frame, a great big frame, and then she has one of these machines that like punches it in, and all the patterns and everything, and oh, fabulous. Really, it's lovely. I'll link it onto my page, and because she has a proper job as well. So she's a busy girl. She's a busy girl, and they've just got a new dog, so they're really busy. Anyway, right. So what we're going to do is we're doing a nice little project. It's I'm hoping we'll get it done in the hour, because I've done a little bit of prep beforehand. It's one that you could actually achieve very easily without getting too messy. So what we'll do is we'll just turn the camera around. It's not like felting, Philippa. It'll come to me. It'll come to me as to what it's actually called, but it's brilliant. And she loves colour. Chloe brings colour into everybody's world, bless her. She's absolutely adorable. Right, so I'm going to turn you around, okay? There we are. And, oh.
I know, we're stuck.
Oh, we're stuck.
I don't know what's going on here. Hold on. Oh, that's it.
Cool.
Nippy neck.
Didn't have its Weetabix this morning.
Yep, we're there.
Are we sorted? Fantastic, thank you. Maybe needs a bit of WD in it after we've finished. Right then, so you perhaps saw the pictures, but what I like to do, obviously I love to do big pieces of mixed media, and which is fantastic. But obviously we can't do a big piece like that unless we do it sort of like in a workshop and do that sort of thing. But doing a small little project like this is really super to do. And also it's really good to do if you're not like the biggest sort of most confident person doing mixed media as well. It's a really easy, straightforward project without really needing to use a lot of product as well. So I'm going to be using, I've got these These come, this is the greyboard, it's white on one side, so which is brilliant, because if you want to actually paint on it, actually sort of do a proper painting, you know, I say proper painting, you know what I mean. I can't do proper paintings. I can do stamping, I can colour, but I don't do proper painting. But things like this for, like Lizzie's folk art painting, this is absolutely fantastic because it's got that white.
You get the sound up.
What? Sorry.
Sound.
Ah. Yeah. Is that? Hopefully that's better. We've put it right up. So yeah, ideal for that sort of thing. So obviously this is greyboard. It comes in a pack of 3, I do believe. I know that Laura, bless her, she's going to, thank you very much, she's going to link them in. I'm sure they come in a pack of 3. I know I had 3 in my pack, so whether I've used one I don't know, but they're super size as well. Like I say, doable, a really doable size. So 9 inches, and for those that are younger, 230 millimetres, 23 centimetres, and 4.5 inches, which is 11 centimetres. So they're a really cool size, and not too daunting as well. But equally, if you had 3, you could use. I've got another one here. I'll show you. You could use 3 together, and actually put some strengthener in the back, to make it into like a stubby triptych. Because often, I mean, a triptych doesn't need to be any particular size. I tend to use more narrow canvases when we do triptychs, meaning 3 pieces of either canvas or board or wood or whatever. It just needs to be in a 3.
It's a pack of 5, by the way.
Sorry?
It's a pack of 5.
Oh, is it 5? Oh, I must have used 2 then previous to that. Right. Well, that's even better price. My goodness me. So, yeah, fantastic surfaces. Always good to have in as well. These are something that and Laura knows, I do tend to get them, because then if I want to do something a bit more than a card, or a bit more than maybe a set of ATCs or something like that, these are just fantastic. Talking of ATCs though, I don't think I have any actually to hand, but that doesn't matter. But these make a superb surface also for 3 of either the circle ones or the I've actually got one that's the lovely Sue made me at Christmas. So if you think you could put 3 on here, and that would make a really nice picture in itself, and also it could be a nice little display. You could maybe put some little pieces here, you know, like the photo corner type idea. If you have a look in I'm sure lots of you have got the journal templates of Lizzie's, and I'm sure that there would be something in there that you could make to put as a backdrop, and then actually put the card inside. So then what you could do is you could then have that as a base, and just change your ATCs every now and again. Hopefully that makes sense. That's just popped into my head, and I just thought it'd be quite a nice little a little sort of base for that. So yeah, so that's what it is. But a triptych, absolutely superb. Obviously, like I say, you would have to put something at the back to maybe two pieces of something at the back to obviously make them stay together. Okay, so yeah, a big thumbs up to those. A for the price, B for the quality, and C for all the things that we can do with it. Now, the other thing that we're going to do with it, also that we're going to use some dominoes. Now, these are the MDF ones, because these are the ones that I had. Now, they do come, we call them dominoes obviously because they're the size of a domino, and we use them. Now, we've got the inches, which obviously are inch by inch. We've got the dominoes, and then we've got the bigger one. Is it the twinches? I'm not sure. Oh dear, twinches. That's it. Now you can get them in a mixed pack. You can get them all the same size. You can get obviously the square ones all the same as well. But so you can get these in Crafty board. You can get them in the MDF, and I don't know if you can get them in the grey board as well. But I like to. I've got mine that I've got here are the MDF ones. And what we're going to do is we're going to use them. I'm going to just lift this up. We're going to use them as a backdrop, just to make the whole project a little bit more dimensional, but also, yeah, a little bit more interesting to the eye. A little bit more to do as well, a little bit more playtime as well, rather than just using the flowers that we've got, which I'll talk about in a second, and just laying them on. It just gives that lovely little bit of backdrop to it. Now, these were actually when we first had, oh gosh, I've used these for several years. There's some gorgeous stamp sets that actually go with these, which I know that you'll have seen me using, and everybody else in the design team, because we all just love them, and they stamp brilliantly. They are actually the size of a domino. They stamp amazingly well on the actual shapes themselves. So
Maxine's just joined in.
Oh, good morning, Maxine. Thank you for popping in. Now, what I also used is I've used the you can see the flowers. Now, these are one of my all-time faves from Laura, and that's Crafty. And well, I mean, I've painted these already, but they do come in a sheet like so, and you get. So this is the one that you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers, and also never ever do. Don't mean to be bossy, but don't ever throw these extra bits out. You know, when you've popped them out, look, all these bits, because these are, you know, I save all these bits, and I know we all do, to use for building up on mixed media projects. Instead of using loads of the heavy body gel, I mean, obviously I use that in conjunction with this as well, but by using your waste, it gives that fantastic lift of all your bits and bobs that you want to do. So don't ever throw these bits out. Now again, you can get these in the Crafty board, and you can also get them in the grey board. 6 or 1.5 a dozen, to be honest, in my humble opinion. You do also get these 2 lovely flower heads as well, which you can sort of dot in between your other pieces, and you can see they just pop out really easily. So that's what we're using as well this morning. So they do lots and lots of obviously the A4, either Crafty board or grey board, actually cut out. I call them cutouts. They're not. They're obviously you know, everything that you can decorate, and it's just so lovely. They also look really fabulous, just done in black against a fantastic bright background, so it looks a bit silhouette-y. You get a bit arty like that, you know. This is near to arty is what perhaps I get. So what I have done, this is actually the back of the flowers, because the only thing is, when they overhang your project, if you do it so that they overhang, you want to make sure that the backs are actually covered. If you don't, you're just going to get like the poppy. I haven't done the poppy, but like the poppy, say if you've got a lovely coloured front, I know you're going to maybe put it up against something, but if you're gifting it to somebody, which I will have to say, these make marvellous gifts. When you turn over, obviously it's still going to be a grey board, and I think it's nice just to add that little bit of extra just to finish it off. Marvellous gifts for crafty friends, because they know that you've put a lot of love into a project, and they really appreciate things like this. And of course you get the joy of making as well. So we're going to be using the flowers. The other thing that we're going to obviously use, and we're going to bring that in now, I'm going to put the flowers to one side just for a few minutes. We're going to be using the texture sand paste and also the texture paste, which, well, as you well know, these are my go-to all the time. Was actually using these on Saturday at our Partex workshop when we did the canvases, because although obviously we were using Partex, which is also we can use as an adhesive, but we needed to lift some of the pieces up. We needed extra bond on some of the pieces as well. This was absolutely perfect, and it made amazing texture where we didn't put any embellishments. So if you haven't seen those pictures, have a little look on my Facebook page, and maybe I could maybe link it in to That's Crafty Creatives, because we used a lot of this on the project, and you can see the texture really close up. I'll take a couple of really close up places where the texture has been made with the sand paste, and you'll see just how good it is. If you haven't used it, I know lots of you on here have already used it, and it's one of your go-tos as well. So I'm actually maybe preaching to the converted here, but yeah, I've always said it's just a fantastic, excellent. All the pastes are just such good value for money as well, which is very important. And I know we say this a lot, but especially at the moment. Now then, so what I'm doing is I'm just creating a little bit of texture on the background. Alright, so I'm not putting a great deal on it. I'm not using a lot. You need to put a little bit of something on the background, because you're not going to put the dominoes all over it. You're just going to put them sporadically, so then your flowers are going to sit on the top of where I've put the dominoes. I have got one already done, which is already dry, but I want to just obviously show you the process. So that's looks rough, but it's actually exactly how you want it to be. Okay, just make sure you've got just nice, and there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use what's left of my paste, and I'm going to pop my dominoes onto the surface of my my base. So we're going to call this a canvas, because it is a canvas, isn't it?
Elaine's just popped in.
Oh, good morning, Elaine. Just utch that one up a bit, put that one a little bit like that. You never do two the same. It doesn't matter that I've got one prepared already, because this sort of background is ideal for having around. It's all done. It's quite plain, as in it's not got any colour at this moment. You haven't made the project distinguished up to now. It's just going to be a very it's like a base to start off another project for something else. So I don't like just doing things just for the sake of them in lives. I do like to make sure that I've got an idea to use them for another time as well. Let's just turn them over. So I'm doing some one way, some another, and don't have to be spaced out the same or anything like that. So overhung that one, you can overhang another one if you want to do. It's entirely up to you. I haven't gone right down the bottom because I have got something else to put at the bottom. So we'll just, I might need that again in a second. So I'm going to bring in the sand texture paste now. So obviously, as it sounds, it's got. See, ideally, what you'll do is you'll wait for these to actually dry, so they're not skidding around. But because these would normally just be sat there, because you'll leave them to dry at home. So I'm putting a little bit of sandpaper. I'm not being fussy with it. Okay. Just a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit sort of, some you're going to put a little bit thicker than others. Yeah, just leave them to dry so they're not wiggling around all over the place, but I just wanted to show you where I was at with this. Just a bit on the actual canvas as well. Just with your palette knife. You can do it with a brush if you want. If you really want to, you can go with your fingers, but even I won't do that. But, you know, whatever, if you want. So just putting some in the background, different layers, just on top of where you've been already with the other bits. Just make sure before you leave it, not that it really desperately matters, but it would to me, I need to have them all nice and straight. So before you leave it to set, that does need to be all nice and straight. I'm not going to go any further with this one because you've got the gist of what I did in the background. I'm going to leave that one now to dry. You can give it a waft obviously with your heat tool, but you know what, if you've got time just to let it sit and naturally dry in a warm room, then brilliant. So I'll just pop that to one side. So like I say, I will use this for another project, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in this one, and this is one literally I did do this morning, so that it's nice and dry. These are all stuck, look, all in place, and I have gone over, and you can see now where all that lovely sand paste has met up with the texture paste, which is more on the smooth side, but I have made sure that it's not actually smooth as can be. I've made sure that there's a little bit more texture going on, because it's going to be quite important when we come to dry brushing it in a bit, because it's all the texture is what's important. Now I'm just going to sit back slightly because I'm going to spray. And as my mum pointed out at the beginning, I have got lighter clothes on this morning, and you can guarantee I will get something on me. I'm using one of the flat matte sprays. Obviously you can choose whatever colour that you want. I just wanted something in the background that I know will make the flowers pop, because I've used some nice bright colours in the flowers. This one's blueberry. It always looks a little bit dark in there, but it is actually a really gorgeous blue. I liken it to like a denim blue type idea. Now what you'll see that it is actually resisting a little bit on the sand texture paste. It will soak into the ordinary texture paste, but on the sand it will resist a little bit. But if you just leave it be for it to soak in for a few minutes, it will do exactly that. Now I'm actually bringing in a hairdryer. You'll excuse me, it's, you know, yeah, it is.
My hairdryer.
It is your hairdryer. Well, it's not your actual dryer that you dry your hair with, is it? Please don't think you use this. You don't actually dry your hair, do you? No. So it's you can see we use it for all our mixed media. Now, if I put the heat tool on this and it was too hot, it might actually sort of bubble up on the actual sand texture paste. It might, if you want that appearance, then absolutely fine. I don't particularly want it. I've got enough texture going on. I'm quite happy to to leave it at that. I'm sorry about the noise. I'll try and be really quick. Okay, so you can see it's resisted off some of it, but it is actually going in. And then once you get one coat on, then you can go on if you want to and put some more on. So a hairdryer obviously isn't as fierce and hot as a heat tool. So this is why a hairdryer is ideal for this sort of thing, when you don't particularly want the texture to be any more raised or wiggly or whatever. Yeah, sorry about the noise. It is a bit noisy, isn't it? Right, so that's how I'm going to just leave that for the time being. Now what we can do is, obviously you can spray it again if you want, and it will give a lot more. In fact, let's just put a teeny weeny bit more on if we want.
Shell and Leslie's just joined us.
Oh, morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Let me just put 2 seconds of oil. Right, okay, so I'm going to leave that for a few minutes, but before I actually do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in these, which is the Pentant, the 3D balls, okay, and what we're going to do is I'm going to use the side of this. I just put scrap obviously underneath there so that it catches all the mess. Right, so what we need to do is I need to have something to mix the balls in. Let me find. I normally use a little yogurt pot. I'll just use that for the time being. That should be enough. You don't use you use hardly any. Now these are actually on a special offer at the minute on That's Crafty website, and I'm sure that Laura is going to link those in. You get loads in there actually, because they do go a long way. But yeah, they're on a special price at the moment. So if you do a lot of mixed media and you like to use lots of texture and just a little bit of interest, you know, here and there, these are perfect, and they're very light. They're I'm presuming that they're like a light plaster, like something like that, maybe limestone, maybe just something like that. All you need to do is just pop a little bit of I've just used a little bit of the heavy body gel. Okay, just pop a little bit of that in a tub, and then make sure they're all nicely coated. All right, and then you can actually pop them wherever you want to actually place them. Now what I'm aiming for is for these to be at the bottom of the project, but what you can also do is, if you've got plenty, you can dot them around as well if you wanted to. This is where I would go with my fingers because it's easy. So I just thought this would be quite nice at the bottom to make it look as if the flowers are in a sort of like bed of something, you know. They give that extra layer, a little bit of texture, because of course when you start to dry brush and you start to add your paint and bits and bobs, it just makes all the difference. Now I've got a little bit left, so obviously I'm not going to waste it. So I'm just going to put a little bit here. At the moment it looks like they won't ever dry, but they do, and then they stick. here and there. I tend to be a bit mean with my Everybody gel. So make sure you've got enough in there. Let's just put a little bit more in there. Hopefully they should stick. We'll just take out, if they don't all stick, we'll just take a few out. We need to get those dry, so I want to leave that just to sit for a few minutes. And what we'll do now is we'll put that to one side and we'll concentrate on the flowers. So, right, so let me just bring the project in again so you can see where we're going with it. So we've got our dominoes on the background, and we've got all our paste, and you can see all that beautiful texture with the paste. And these are the balls at the bottom. I didn't have any excess, so I didn't put any anywhere else, but it does look really nice if you do have a few. Just put a little few extra in. Oh, I've caught that. Oh, I'll have to stick that down, that's not a problem. Yeah, so that's where we're going with that. So when it's all dry, then we're going to obviously add more colour, and then that's when we're going to add the colour onto those. And we'll just, I'll tell you what I'll do, just while it's sitting, I'll just put a little bit of the blue on the balls as well, so that they're pretty much all the same shade before we start painting. Right, so now what we want to do is we need to do our flowers. So I was thinking, I mean, rule of three and all that, or rule of odds, they say, don't they? But actually it did work rather well, because yeah, I think our actual base is perfect for 3 of these, and they're a really super size. So remember, the green is for the back, so we will get these painted up now. Now, normally what I would say is with greyboard and with MDF and all that sort of thing, I would normally say gesso it to bring it back to its natural, you know, sort of neutral colour. So then the colours that you're going to put on are then going to be the right colours. But in this occasion, you don't need to do that at all, because what we're going to do is we're going to put paste on. So we're going back to our sand paste, and what we're going to do is we're going to put sand paste on the flower tops. You don't have to worry about the leaf part, and also just give it a little bit of, the paste will let you do that and sit up nicely. That gives it lots more texture. I'll use it at the lid so that doesn't dry up. Right, so just push it to the side so that you're not. Obviously, we're going to paint these in a few minutes as well. So with this particular one, what you need to do is just do the flower head, get a little bit of a dot around, and then if you want to do a couple of different layers, you know, sort of like to give it real dimension, then that's quite nice. And then I've just done this one and that one, so fluff it up a bit so that it's not too flat. It would still be textured, it would still be lovely, because obviously it's the sand texture paste, but it's just, if you want that little bit of extra, just fluff it up with your palette knife or a brush. You can obviously do this with a brush if you preferred. It's whatever you like to do, whatever you're happy with. Now the thing is about these flowers and any of the Crafty board and greyboard, the different ones, the different shapes and what have you, it's well worth having a look on the website for all the different ones that are available, because there's so many different cutouts, and Laura brings new ones out, you know, quite frequently as well. In the past we've had some super ones where we've had stamps to match, which is quite nice. Now just turn it over just to make sure that you've, doesn't matter about the extra bits on the extra bits of paste, that's not a problem, but just make sure that it's not too much so that you're not getting the definition of the flowers. Right, that bit there, if you left that bit it would be, just put that back in the middle. Right, so now it still looks like, I think that's a hollyhock, I think. I'm going to say that that's Sembraanthemum. That's the one that goes in when the sun goes in, I think, isn't it? That one, the summer bedding plant. And then I think this one maybe Aster, maybe? Cool. I bet you're impressed with that, Mother, aren't you? But I know what the flowers are.
Not a drooping daisy then.
Not a drooping daisy. Well, it could be a drooping daisy, but we don't want any droopy bits in our flower bed, thank you. Right, so I will need to just give these a little bit of a warm to get them a little bit drier than what they are. Again, I'm using the hairdryer rather than the heat tool. I only need to get this touch dry, which it almost is already. They're such a lovely, all these cutouts are just so smashing to craft with. And also, I think I was going to say before I went on to say something else, sorry, that they are light enough to go onto cards as well, especially the Crafty board. Dries really quickly. There. So, especially the Crafty board, it's very, very light, so it will allow you to pop them onto cards as well if you wanted to. Do you know you'd only need one, wouldn't you? You just need one. Just one on a card. Lovely bit of matting and layering, maybe a bit of stamping, a bit of spraying or something in the background. Obviously it wouldn't look like that, you'd have it painted nice. Right, so what do we want? We want a paintbrush, that would be handy. Just grab that one. Right, so what we'll do is we'll do the stalks first. I've got multi-surface paints as always. Great, multi-surface, put them on anything. So brilliant on the grey board, brilliant on the Crafty board. This one is it's green, and I mean there's several greens. I've got all of them. The lime is one of my favourites, but it's really, really low, so I don't want to start using that. And then the evergreen, oh, it's lovely. It's smashing. It's got that gorgeous, I love this for Christmas projects as well, because it's got that beautiful like fern sort of colour going on. But if you haven't experienced the that's Crafty multi-surface paints, they do have a really super set of a smaller size, which I call a taster set, but they're far more than a taster set really. They're really handy to be taken out and about actually, the smaller pots. But they come in a set of colours that you would be more likely to use. And they are really such a good price. I'm just going to put a cocktail stick and just poke that out there. That's it. So I'm not going to obviously do my flowers. I don't want them all to be green. Now this one, it's up to you really, whether you just do the very stalk of this one, or if you do just tap down the middle as well, just every now and again. At the minute it looks a bit odd because obviously we haven't got colour on the other bit of the flower, but just do the sides. You can, because obviously if you are, well, even if you're keeping it for yourself to display at home or in your craft room or something, do the sides, because, well, it finishes it all off, doesn't it? Even if you've just got a little bit of paint left on your brush, just pop those around and about. That's it. So we've got those three. Just wash my brush there. So that's all the green done. I mean, yeah, you take a bit more time, obviously. Maybe do a bit more detail on it, but I am going to add something else in a few minutes, which will add some more detail. So bear with me for a few minutes. So I'm going to do what I'm calling the hollyhock. It could be a looping actually, couldn't it? Ah, yeah, could be a looping. Got some seeds actually from my father-in-law's loopings this year. He had absolutely loads of them, and they looked spectacular, as they always do in his garden. And of course they start drying off, don't they? You get the pods, and you can keep obviously re-sow, can't you, the leaves? And I've got quite a few, so I'm going to be hopefully doing some of those this year. We don't have a big garden, but we don't have a garden as such. We have all our back of our house is actually.
She thinks it might be a foxglove.
It could be that's absolutely, yes, a foxglove. Oh yes, who was that, Mark?
Shelley.
Oh, Shelley, yes, it could be you're right, Shelley. Yes, because it's got that sort of feel to it, hasn't it? Definitely. But yeah, we have we have patio on the back of our garden. I had it done a few years ago because, well, as you know, unfortunately I'm not up to lumping a mower round anymore, and Mark's not that really bothered. The gardening gene didn't pass on to Mark, unfortunately, from his dad. So, but I love pots. I love having pots in the garden, and a little. It does. My mum always says it looks like a little cottage garden when everything all comes out, and I do like spending time in it. So now I'm just going to put
or a delphinium, whatever.
Delphinium. Gosh, there's a lot of.
That's from Sue.
Sue, thank you. Now I'm just literally dabbing a little bit of the purple in there as well. Just a little bit, not much. I've gone over the stalk, so I will just revise that. Heavy-handed there, Jojo. There we go. And then I think what I might do is I might just take just a little bit of the green, not all the way through because I don't want it to look too artificial, but just a little bit, because we can always give that a little bit of something afterwards to make it look a little bit more, not real, because dry brush it or something like that to pick up the detail. Right, so for this one, which could be asters or dahlia. Dahlias are those sort of shapes as well, aren't they? I'm having a bit of a lesson here. Oh right, I didn't tell you. So the teal, I used violet for the first one. For this one I'm using the bright magenta, which is glorious. And I'm just going to colour that one up. There we go. Planes are quiet this morning. I thought they would be busy today because it's not a bad morning out there. Who's been? I know lots of local people are watching it, but have you been watching the Top Gun programme? Is it, what channel is it on? Is it BBC Two or something like that? It's on a Tuesday evening anyway. It's been brilliant. If you haven't had a look at it yet, honestly,
it's the real Top Gun.
It's the real. Oh, we're not. Yeah. Although Tom Hanks was quite good.
Tom Hanks. It's Tom Cruise.
Oh, not Tom Hanks. Oh, sorry. I was talking about Tom Hanks earlier because he did the voiceover for the Attenborough programme, didn't he? And it was like, oh, that's not Mr. Attenborough. That's Tom Hanks. No, Tom Cruise, wasn't it, that did the Top Gun? Yeah, it's actually the real Top, and of course it's featured here in Coningsby. It's based at Coningsby in Waddington, and it's been an excellent insight into the RAF and the pilots and what goes on around here. So when lots of you have been on lives with me and you've heard the planes going bonkers.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
The old Ruskies are about.
There we go. So yeah, it's worth having a look at. If you haven't watched it, have a little look. If you can do rewind, it's been really excellent. Really excellent. There we go. Now, I do need to put green on here and here. I'll get a smaller brush, smaller, and just a little bit there as well. Turn that around. Yeah, so this is a bud that's obviously not open, so we don't need any of the magenta on here. But it's still lovely to see that texture on the ends. And then if we just creep a little bit of green in here, so it looks as if that one's just opening. There we go.
Oh, it's Channel 4, your mum says.
Oh, Channel 4. Oh, thank you. I know it wasn't one. I couldn't remember what it was. It is a Tuesday. I'm sure it's a Tuesday evening. Right, so I'm just going to put that one to one side. So that's that done. We will put a little bit of something else on that pink as well. So it's not just all one colour. Now, I think what I'll do is I'll do this one in a purple. So it's all going to be one colour at the moment, but then we'll... So whilst I'm doing this, today's post on That's Crafty Creatives, of course it's Monday, so it's our Shelley, and she's made a lovely, if you haven't seen it yet, when we're finished here, go and check it out. She's made a gorgeous birthday book. I'll let her tell you why she's done a birthday book, but yeah, she's done a birthday book using one of Liz's fabulous templates. Great idea. And also I think it's a lovely idea if you do craft fairs and or for yourself or for charities or whatever. Of course, gifts, lovely for gifts. Yeah, she's done a lovely project on there. And then of course Liz is on this week. Is it? No, next week, isn't it, for your live? But on Wednesday, oh, Anthony's back with the shopping live. It's this Wednesday, isn't it? Do you know, I honestly lose track of time. Time just goes so quickly, doesn't it? Does it with everybody else? Right, I'm just going to take this sheet off here because it's a little bit distracting for everybody. There we go. Right, so what we're going to do with these now, we're actually going to just give them a very quick, I may as well use my hair blade, could use a heat tool, but just be careful not to do too much on it. This paint dries very quickly, so it's not, it wouldn't take long at home if you was doing it. It's a bit, just put that bit of green on there. I know I'm fussy, but it is needs to be done. Right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of zhuzh with the distressed spritz. Now these are the ones 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks today, that we did a live with them. I was just basically talking through what we could do with them and all that sort of thing. You know, what benefits they have using them for some things and not others. And I decided the other day when I was doing this to actually, it would look gorgeous if we sprayed them onto the flowers. And you saw how very, very little I use, but if I leave that like that now so that it pulls just underneath, okay, it gives some really nice variation on the you know, sort of the colour variation. Now these are available as a multi-buy. Laura's doing these as a multi-buy, which obviously makes them a little bit more. There we go. That one, so the first one I used was Salvage Patina. This one is Kitsch Flamingo. Never know if I'm saying that right. And then we'll use a little bit of Wilted Violet. So you can see I'm just giving them a shake, because obviously the micas are all at the bottom. So give them a good shake when you can hear the ball bearing moving around. We should be okay. There we go. That's just one little spritz. That's all it needs. So now what we've got is we've got a lovely, not just a mica effect on them, but we've also got a little bit of variation in the colour, which is fabulous. Because obviously flowers aren't all one. Well, not many flowers that I've seen are all one colour. So now then, whilst they're sitting and behaving themselves, we're going to just have a little look at this. This is still wet, so I'm going to have to give this a dry. In fact, I'm going to use my heat tool for this one. It's not much cleaner than that one, but it's a bit cleaner, because I wanted to speed it a little bit quicker than. It's just the actual 3D balls that just need a little bit of a warm, so then we can go ahead and just put some more colours on the background. So what I love about using different pastes on the same project, meaning different types of paste, so obviously the texture sand paste, and then what I call the ordinary paste, the smooth paste, is you get that lovely variation in the textures, but also when you use them in conjunction with the sprays, what happens is you get a different, even though it's the same colour spray, because I've only used one spray on it at the moment, but you get a variation of the depth of spray, because one paste will absorb so much and the other type of paste will absorb it more. Okay, hopefully that's making sense. It does in my head, but that doesn't mean anything sometimes. But it does create that really, really gorgeous variant of your background colour. So I'm hoping, yeah, I'm just going to have to be careful with that. Just try and avoid the... Right, okay, well even if we didn't get it quite 100% finished, we can at least get it to a certain point. So what I want to do now is I want to just add a little bit of colour just where the white is, and I'm going to just, now then I'm going to go in with this green, just a tiny bit. I don't want much because I've got the green stalks obviously, and what I don't really want is to make it all sort of like mix all together and make it one big blob of green. Just want to put, so what I'm doing is I'm mixing a bit of the teal, got a bit of magenta in there but that won't matter, a little bit of the teal and a little bit of the green together to make a sort of a different, do mix your paints. Oh, I do that all the time. How many colours we can get out of them. Now what I'm doing is I'm very lightly, it's not much pressure on here. Obviously I'm going to avoid these for the time being, but you'll just have to imagine that for, so we've got a finished project, so it's not like you can't see. So what I would do is I would go over everywhere just to give that little bit more, need a bit more. Just mix that together. It's interesting actually how these, I know they're the same colour families as in blues and green and blue and all that, not colour families, but you know what I mean. They go really beautiful together, don't they? But it's surprising, those two colours, what a gorgeous colour it actually makes. So what I'm trying to do, obviously trying to avoid these, the actual 3D balls until they've sat nicely and dried. It's only because there's quite a few of them and it's the heavy body gel needs to dry as well. But basically just go over and just tickle the areas in between where you've got it covered nicely anyway. You don't need to add any, but just add in a little bit more colour here and there. And like I say, I'm not going too heavy-handed with it because I don't want to cover up that lovely blueberry, the spray that we've already done. This is just adding a little bit of extra. So I'm just going to have to avoid that little bit there. See, at the moment it looks a little bit messy, but I think you're getting the drift of what I'm trying to do. Just cover up that little bit white there. Now then, so what I want to do now is, there we go, I want to now use, I've got Twisted Citron in the spritz sprays, and I've also got, oh here we go, as soon as it's on you can hear it, can't you? There we go. I'm going to spray a little bit of that here and there. And you can see now it's coming together, isn't it? So this is the walnut stain. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Maybe wall that next door. There we go. This is the walnut stain, so I'm just going to put a little bit of the walnut stain at the bottom, and then a very, very quick dry. So now what we've got is we've got this beautiful like petrol background. I'll lift it up in a second and show you. You know the colour of, you know when petrol goes, a little bit goes into water and you get that beautiful coloration going on. So you would take a lot more time. You would leave these all to dry, so then you wouldn't have to be sort of picking around with it and what have you. I'll leave that. It's not quite dry, but it's good enough. So then when I lift this up, look, if I move this, hopefully you're seeing this, and the colours and the different blues, the greens, the sort of like tealy colours and things. So when that's actually stood up and maybe a light catches on it, it's going to look really lovely. Now then, are these dry? No. The finger test. But you'll see in a minute, honestly, just add in that tiny, tiny bit of spray. And honestly, I cannot tell you how little that I've used. There we go. So you can see now, can't you? You've got that. Look at the purple. So we've used the purple. No, there's the violet in the multi-surface paints, and then we use the wilted violet in the actual sprays, and then you can just see, can't you, the lovely way that they are combining together. So I'm just going to lay these on, that one there. So what you can do now is, now you've got the back, this is where the dominoes really come into their own, because you can now lay your flower on, but you've still got the different layers going on, a little bit like, what do you call it? Trellis. You know when you've got your trellis and you can wind it like sweet peas, and you can wind them round a little bit and do like that. Now then, so I'm going to leave those like that, because as in where they are, I'm not going to stick them down because that's going to take a couple of minutes to do. But what I do want to just show you is one more thing that I do like to do, as you well know, and I always use my That's Crafty white gesso for this, is I like to just dry brush over the top, flat brush, like a 3/4 flat brush, and just on the stalks as well, just a little bit. Now what I would do is I would have gone over these, and I'll do that when it's dry, because obviously if I do it now they're just going to jiggle around all over the place. And by doing it flat like that, you're actually catching all the top section. Let's do it this way. Okay, we're doing, and it does make, I personally think it makes such a massive difference. It's like when you're doing MDF, you know, you're doing all your projects with your MDF, and then just go along very, very lightly, just over the top, and then maybe around the sides a little bit. Just go over the top of your textured bits, and it will all just pop. Obviously these would be normally all sat down and nicely and behaving, but I don't want to stick those down just for a minute until everything else is struck. So the last thing that I did, I have already done them, because I did think by now I would be getting short of time. I've actually stamped. Now the stamp that I used was this one, the Grunge Flowers stamp set from Melina, stamp set 3, beautiful flower, I might add, and it is a really lovely size as well, as you can see. But there's a very, very, very nice sentiment on here in Melina's handwriting. There's always room for flowers. And do you know what? I thought it was perfect for this project. So I've stamped it out. What I did do is I inked up a piece of white cardstock, just some scrap. I then stamped it out, and then I spritzed it very, very, very lightly with a little bit of the twisted citron in the spritz sprays, because I thought it would marry quite nicely. So there's always, I'm missing always. There it is. I know it was there because I did it earlier. Right, there's always, you can put those there. We could always put that here, that one there. Room for flowers. So I've just matted and layered them onto some orange so that they pop nicely. And I think that is pretty much sorted. But obviously no, I'll tell you what else I did. One more thing, and I'll just show you in the original one. I did actually go over and splatter with gold multi-surface paint, metallic antique gold, the one I always use if I want to do a bit of gold splattering. I did wonder when I saw what I looked at it this morning, if maybe I went a bit mad, but actually I don't think I did. I think it looks quite pretty because you've got that lovely, obviously that metallic feel to it now as well. But yeah, so I would do that. You can see the difference though, can't you, when you've splattered and not splattered. If you prefer to do a little bit of white splattering, or you don't want to do any splattering at all, well, don't do it. Doesn't matter. It's your project. You do whatever you want. So what I will do is, obviously I'll stick these down, stick the sentiments down. I will wait till that has dried a little bit more, and these a little bit more, and then I'll just very, very lightly just dry brush those. But yeah, that's our project for today. Our mini Monday makes. Very, very doable. I mean, you wouldn't rush and do it in an hour. What's the point in that? Oh, wax. I've had that sat on the side there thinking, what did I use that for? I did use the wax. I've used the wax just on little bits of the stalks here, and also I did just nip around the edges a little bit with it. So if you want to add a little bit more zhuzh, add that. That'd be lovely. So let's have a little turn around in, and let's see what see if anybody's still with us, hopefully. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you ever so much. I will always, as you know, always go back and have a look at the comments. Oh, thank you, Brian. I know. Big respect for Mark, as always. Appreciate that. Yeah, so it's just a lovely little project that we can all have a little bash at. Nothing difficult about it at all. But you know what? If you gave this to somebody, or if you did have some of these displayed on your lovely craft tables, you know, just they would just look super, wouldn't they? And affordable. Really, really affordable. Oh, Jean, I see you're in. Oh, lovely, Jean. How are you all? Hope you're all right. Yeah, they're just a really easy to do, a lovely little intro to mixed media. But equally, you could use all of those techniques on a card project as well with the flowers. I perhaps wouldn't put the MDF dominoes on a card project because that'd be too heavy, but use the Crafty board instead. There's always an option for the flowers and also the dominoes. Crafty board, MDF, greyboard. Have a little look, and extremely affordable. And don't forget to use the waste. Okay. Right, I'll say cheerio then. Thank you, Mr. Channon, for your assistance.
No problem.
And I will see you all in a fortnight, I think, to see you before the Crafty together. Can you just have a look at the so the next time I will be here will be where are we now? Monday the 24th, or is that just 1 week? Can't remember now. Yes, that's right. Monday the 24th. I'm looking at my whiteboard. I've got a whiteboard over there. So, oh, thank you ever so much, Laura. Thank you. Thank you so much to everybody that's joined in this morning. This will go on to the YouTube channel where there's like loads of stuff. Please do go and have a little look at that. Please do support it. Don't forget there's still some really fantastic bargains to be had on That's Crafty website as well, including those 3D balls are on offer. So don't miss out on those if you do like them. Okay, I'll say good afternoon and I'll see you all and have a lovely afternoon, whatever you're all doing. Speak to you soon. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.